welcome to the Santana Show. My name is Naomi Santana, and my guest today is Zach Boetto. Zach received an associate's degree in journalism from Orange Coast College and his bachelor's degree in communication from CSU Channel Islands. Currently, Zach is working in Missouri at ABC 17. Welcome, Zach.
Hey, Naomi, thanks for having me.
So how have you been?
I've been good. Everything's been going really well. I've been out here in Missouri. It's a little bit colder here than in California, but just been reporting the news and going to the gym. That's pretty much it.
Wow, that's awesome. So how are you
Yeah,
liking working in Missouri?
it's good. It's been like a year and 6 months. You know what I mean? So I've grown so much. It started out just reporting in the field and interviewing people, and then all of a sudden we got hit with COVID, and we got hit with the social injustice riots basically, and it's just been awesome and full of surprises, every day. And so now I'm doing a lot more anchoring, which has been a blessing as well, and I just feel like I'm getting better every single day, and I can't be more thankful.
That's awesome. So you're currently anchoring weekends only?
Right now I anchor the weekend morning shows at 6, 6:30, 8, 8:30, 9, and 9:30. And then I also anchor weekdays at 9 a.m. and at noon on Monday, Tuesday. And I also report those mornings. So 5:30, 5:36, 6:30 in the mornings. And then anchor the 9, anchor the noon. So it's kind
So
of a lot.
yeah, that's a lot. But you enjoy it, right?
Yeah, every single day. I love what I do. It's difficult, but I love a challenge. So it's been great.
So you got this job that you have right now currently right after you graduated, right? So can you tell
hmm
me a little bit about that process?
The process of going from college to a career, or getting a job, or what type of process are you referring to?
Both.
Both. Okay, so in landing a job, if that's you where you want me to start, you know what I mean? Because where are
You can
you?
start
What
you can
perspective are you
start
coming
wherever you
from?
want. Where am I coming
Okay.
from? I was
Yeah.
just wondering for both.
And or did you graduate from CI yet?
No, not yet. I'm gonna graduate in May.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I'll start there. So in January, before I graduated, that's pretty much right now is when I started to really put my feet in the water and say, I'm looking for a job now. I was reaching out to different stations, and in that, basically, I was going, how can I make myself marketable to all these stations, right? And so the way I was started to make myself marketable was, number one, putting together a newsreel, because I had those clips that we had made from Island News, and I had some other clips that I had from the internship that I did in Palm Springs. I put those clips together. I made a newsreel, and then I took social media like LinkedIn, and I created my profile and made my profile super like approachable and outgoing. And I put my newsreel on my LinkedIn, and then I started connecting with a bunch of people on LinkedIn, just connecting with a bunch of different news stations, just going from different LinkedIn profiles to other ones, searching LA, San Diego, New York, Chicago, and then slowly just building up a connection base, a network is what you could call it. And then I would put out my reel through that network and put myself in the workplace basically. And so I started getting calls from other different stations like Arizona, Northern California, Colorado, like Wyoming and stuff.
Mhm.
And then, um, and then I started talking to this agency. Basically, it's like a talent agency. And one of the talent agents was like, hey, man, I think I have a station that you really might enjoy. I'm going to talk to the news director there for you, and we'll see what he says. And you guys can have a conversation in that. So this agent ended up putting me with this news director, and that news director who I spoke with is the one I'm working for now in Columbia, Missouri. And they basically offered me uh, a contract that was better than any other contract I've been offered. So these other places like Arizona and stuff, they were offering me contracts to work for them as a reporter and a fill-in anchor, but I didn't feel like they were offering me enough money to live off of. I was like, this income is just not enough for me to survive. I don't see it working for me and me being happy mentally, because this is a difficult job, you know. So I didn't see my mental health being um, prolific, and my physical health or my opportunities being able to thrive in their communities there. And so when I got the offer in Columbia, Missouri, I basically had told them when I got the phone call, I'm being offered this much, and you're going to have to offer me something more to work here. And so they did offer me more. And I was like, okay, I'm going to Missouri. So now I'm here in Missouri, and I drove 24 hours, and I got here, and it's so different. It's like way different than anything in California. You know what I mean? Like, I've lived in a
Mhm.
lot of different places in California and even in Nevada, and I knew places were a little bit different everywhere. But you know, when you really travel to across the United States, the community culture is much different. So I just knew it'd be important to stay true to myself while also listening to what other people are saying when it comes to my news director and my coworkers, and just kind of like making adjustments every day. You know, there's a saying that I've heard Odell Beckham Jr. use, and he is a professional football player. He says, "Adapt to survive." And I think if there's any one sentence answer to the question that you asked me is, you know, how things been, it's I've had to adapt to survive, really, when
Mhm.
it's coming to everything: my job, my lifestyle, my bills that are being paid, you know, my family time. It's just like I've had to adapt, and as a person, and then communicate um what I'm doing and what I'm feeling with my family and my peers, so that we can all collectively succeed.
So in your response, you mentioned Island News. So can you tell me
Mm-hmm.
a little bit more about that? What inspired you to start Island News?
I started Island News because I could tell that there was a need for it at our university, and it wanted to go there. You know what I mean? We had the newspaper, CI View, and CI View wanted to go digital,
Mhm.
uh, or further digital with their video making, and because I was working under like the managing editor or the graphics editor at CI View, and they wanted to go more digital, and I was like ready to take that more digital. But then the position that I had applied for, that I had interned for, they gave to
Mhm.
someone else. They gave
Oh.
that job to someone else. Yeah, it was a paid position and everything.
Mhm.
And so, you know, that kind of like lit a fire in me, and was like, you know what? If these kids aren't going to appreciate where my vision is going, then I'm going to take my talents to my own, uh, you know, program. And I didn't want to lose my skills that I had built that summer from the internship that I partook in at KESQ in Palm Springs. So I was like, all right, I'm done with CI View. I spent some time there. It was good. I showed them a lot of stuff, and they didn't want anything to do with me. So I started my own station, and you know, from the beginning it was difficult, but I knew that we were going to have success if we could recruit. And we were recruiting against CI View basically for journalists that want to partake in, you know, creating. And we just continued to build Island News from the ground up. And at first, people thought it was really stupid and dumb, and then it started to blossom, you know what I mean, and get really big. And then we had like 500 followers, 700, 1,000, over 1,000, and then we had like 15 people working with us. And then it was like a, you know, machine, a system, and then we had people coming in and people going all the time, and it just grew, you know, and we ended up doing really well, you know. And when at the point where, you know, you started to get involved, because there was a
Mhm.
point where, you know, you were like interested in Island News, I was recruiting and looking for people that wanted to get involved. And I think that you were probably a fan of what we were doing. And then you were like, yeah, I'd love to try to take my talents to something like this, that is more broadcast journalism focused. And then we started working together and doing a couple, episodes from there on. And so I think it was ultimately a way for me to continue to just grow, you know what I mean, and become a better person and journalist. And I think that having a little bit of the manager experience, the managerial experience of having people on the team work with me, work under me, and for a greater good or a greater product, I think
Mhm.
that was a huge learning point for me. And unfortunately, I don't think they carried it on following semesters. And I don't blame them. It's really hard, you know what I mean? But I would have liked to see that happen, but it did not.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, definitely what you just said. I wanted to get involved with Island News because like CIView was only a newspaper back then. It was mainly a newspaper. And I was like, you know what? I want to do something else, you know? Like I'm more interested in broadcast journalism. But just that the times that you guys were filming, it never really worked out for me. But yeah, but that's awesome.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and sadly they didn't continue it. And I was like a bit disappointed. I was like, dang it, I wanted to see more, you know.
Yeah, that was the goal. But like I said, it's hard. If you don't have the skills or you don't have the passion for it, you just, I mean, people don't do stuff all the time, like every day. You know what I mean? You have a choice, and you can, either chase your dreams and follow your goals, or you can like let them go right by you. And I think that a lot of people who wanted to do it let it go right by them. And there's nothing much I could do when it came down to that.
Exactly. So tell me about your internship at KESQ.
It was a good time. It was a good period. It's funny because one of the girls that I actually worked with there is now on The Bachelor this season. Her name is Sarah Trott, and she's just a great girl. You know what I mean? A great person, and she gets to share her story there. And she was a great broadcast journalist when I met her. And I got to work with a lot of other broadcast journalists who were my age and a couple years older, maybe. And they were really fundamental in my foundation. You know what I mean? As a young journalist and making the transition into a professional from a kid who just wants to make videos and just wants to do news to a well-rounded professional. No, I mean, it's a good thing that, you want to do interviews with people who are your peers, because to me, it really keeps you grounded when it comes to creating your own path in this journey. And so, yeah, I'm super thankful for all the people that I was able to work with there. And the talent coach that actually got me the job here in Columbia is someone I met while working at KESQ in Palm Springs. So everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
your mom works there too, right?
Yep. Yeah, my mom is the main anchor there, or one of the main anchors. She has worked in the Valley, Coachella Valley, for 30 years or so. She's been, the inspiration in my journey for journalism to be a great journalist. She has won many awards, and that is something that drives a lot of my work. And I'm super thankful that she's my mother, or I
Oh,
should say, I'm super thankful to be her son. Super grateful.
that's so sweet. So besides your mom, what else inspired you to pursue a career in journalism?
I think I was ready to. Well, when I was a kid, and I had to get a job, I had to first get a job, I was making sandwiches at Jersey Mike's, and because at a certain point I couldn't play baseball anymore and make money. I was trying to make money, and I didn't know how to make money, and so I just started at Jersey Mike's and I was making sandwiches, and then I got a job at and then when I was there, I started to realize, damn, like, why am I working here? This sucks. I want to get a job somewhere that I enjoy, where I like working there, and I can make a difference in someone's life. And my next job was at the mall at Adidas Originals. And I always thought to myself it would be lame to work at the mall, because where I'm from in the Coachella Valley, our mall is kind of lame. But in Orange County, they have these I want to call them franchise shops, but they're not franchise. They're I can't think of the correct word, but they have these special shops there basically for these certain brands, flagship. They're called flagship shops.
Mm,
And
mhm,
basically at the flagship stores, you're getting the newest, most progressive pieces. And so instead of just selling items at your shop that are under this brand name, you're now selling the look. You know what I mean? You're selling
mm,
the lifestyle that comes with every single ad that is put out on a daily basis, or the culture that is being inspired, and it goes hand in hand. And so I started working at Adidas, and then they signed with Yeezy. You know, Adidas signed Kanye, and we were pushing out like the newest Yeezys that were dropping. And so then it became more of like a culture and a movement. What I was doing, instead of just selling shoes and clothes, it was like we are, changing people's mindsets and changing people's behaviors instead of just like feeding them food or selling them clothes. And so then I was like, damn, like this is super fun too. I love what I'm doing here at Adidas, but how can I even push this further in my career and make more money? Because at that point, I was making enough money to get by and go to college and pay for a car and pay my rent in Orange County, which is in itself like a blessing, you know? But then I was
mhm.
like, okay, how can I even push this further? And so I, at that point, got my journalism degree from OCC, and then I was about to, I think, I want to say I transferred to CI, and then I did 1 year at CI, and then that summer I did the internship, and I think that's what I did. And so my first year at CI, I was like, I just want to make friends and I just want to, surf. We were right by the beach, we were right by Malibu. And so that's what was really important to me, was making a healthy transition from Orange County to Ventura County, and, just being happy, making myself happy. I think people underestimate the value of, uh, you know, how should I say this? They underestimate the value of quality of life, is what it's called. I would say they underestimate the value of, the quality of life. So when I was moving to Ventura, I want to make sure that I had a healthy environment around me and friend group, and I based that friend group basically around like some of my buddies that were surfers and some of
Mhm.
the my buddies that were at the gym all the time. And it was more about like just living a healthy lifestyle and less about, my profession. Then after that first year, I want to say, I was like, okay, I've been surfing every day. I've been, chilling out. I got straight A's. I think I had gotten straight A's that semester. It was like the first semester I ever got straight A's in my life. And then I was like, you know what? It's time for me. Yeah, thank you. I was so proud of that moment. Um,
I know
and
how
then,
that feels.
yeah, yeah, I felt really good. And then at that point, I was like, okay, so how can I take this a step further? And instead of going back, because I had to get a job again, and it was like, instead of going back to retail, what can I do to put myself in a good position for my career? So then I was like, I'm going to do this internship this summer. Got to do the internship. And then I was working also at Town Center at CI
Oh, you
after
were?
the internship. Yeah. So after the internship that summer, I went back to CI, and I started working at Town Center, at the grocery store, whatever it was called, the market.
Oh, the market?
And
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and and at the same time, that's when I was like, I don't want to lose these skills that I had built at KESQ, and I want to start Island News. And I forgot what your question was, but I think it has to do something about this, transitional period. What was the
Yeah.
question?
I don't even remember my question. That was a really good response. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot.
yeah, I did too. That was a really good
But that's how I
response,
went
that's
from
why.
like my internship. That's how I went from like my internship to the Island News, and then Island News then, grew up. Basically, our first semester of Island News was like kind of just getting the feet in the water, and then the second semester really, blossomed into something that people trusted as news when we started having the fires, and then we had the fire drills, you know what I mean? And we had like an assault on
Mhm.
campus. And those
Yeah.
big major three things we kind of really drove into the ground, because we knew that the newspaper could only report and deliver every Wednesday. And you know what I
Mhm.
mean? That's when they were dropping newspapers, and we were
Yeah.
dropping news every day. And at that point, we wiped out CI View, and people were just watching us, and our followers were going crazy, like, 20 followers a day for like a cool like 2 weeks. And then everyone was just getting stoked about it. And then everything good has to come to an end.
Yeah, that's true. You mentioned that you used to surf a lot here in California, and I remember that you would say like, "Oh, I like going out surfing." Like in your social media, you would post that you were out
Yeah.
surfing. So my question is, have you felt homesick during this time that you've been in Missouri? Like, have you felt homesick at all?
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's probably the hardest part about, you know, pursuing your career, is that you have to make sacrifices. Excuse me. And so, those sacrifices are, for me, they were surfing and my friends in California and my family in California, and yeah, I mean, I miss that every single day. That used to be like my safe space to go and just relax and start the day. And coming out here to pursue being a news reporter took that away from me. And so you have to, again, that goes back to like adapting to survive. It's like you make these sacrifices to grow my career. Maybe I do 2 years here, and maybe I'll end up back on the West Coast surfing again and making more money and still being a news reporter. But I couldn't have just jumped straight onto TV in LA or in San Diego from college. That's not how the industry works,
Mhm.
unfortunately. So, or maybe,
Yeah.
some people it works that way, but it wasn't going to work that way for me. So I had to come. I'm here now in Columbia, Missouri, and I'm trying to build my way to a greater point where maybe I can get back to surfing in the mornings, because I miss that a lot. I used to love surfing every day, and I know Mavericks has been going off this year, 2021, and the end of 2020. And I would really like to be able to, be a big wave surfer. I would love to like surf a 30-foot wave.
I know that watching the news or like even reporting on the news can be stressful. So what do you do to de-stress?
Um, I work out at the gym, and I talk to my friends and family on the phone. I FaceTime them. But I've never really been someone that gets too high stress. Like, I've just accepted that you have to um, handle a lot on your plate if you really want to, get up there and be really successful. Sometimes there's going to be a lot on your plate, and you have to know how to, generally live with it. And so I'd say I don't normally get really stressed unless I'm like underperforming. And I really don't like to. I really don't consider myself to be someone who underperforms a lot in this business, because you if you're prepared, then you should deliver. And so I always try to make sure that I'm prepared when I go in for the day to deliver and do a good job and deliver the facts. And so lately I haven't been very stressed, but when I first started,
Mhm.
and when I do get a little bit stressed, working out really helps, and having friends and family that I can talk to about the job. And that goes back to like having my peers from KDSQ and other journalists that I've met along the way. I can be like, hey, like, how are you feeling right now? Or, when you see stuff on Twitter, when people storm the Capitol and they write stuff on the walls in the Capitol, like murder the media. Sometimes
Mhm.
that can be, a wake up call. Like, people are sometimes out to get journalists. And if you're in the
Mhm.
wrong uh, parts of the United States, or even the wrong parts of anywhere around the world, and you're unprepared, you can be in danger. And so just being prepared is super important when it comes down to, handling everything that's being thrown at you. So that's kind of the way that I de-stress, is I write everything down. You know what I mean? I plan ahead. I have like a bunch of these like notepads that I just have like notes on notes on notes, and like that always helps me stay organized and keeps my mind at bay, you know,
Hmm.
like because I'll be going through a lot, and when I write it all down, then I can like design it. And I think the key to um, living the life that you want to live is designing your daily procedures for sure.
Absolutely. And I like the idea that you write down everything. That also helps me.
Yeah, I even have a calendar. I have a calendar too that I write on, so I can see where I'm at the 30 days like
Hmm.
ahead. I
And
try
you're
to
always
be aware of
prepared.
that.
You're always prepared. I remember from the time that we like worked together in that one group. You were always prepared.
Something
Prepared.
you learn.
Yeah,
You have to be.
absolutely.
You have to be. If you're unprepared, then you get lost.
Exactly.
So I try to be prepared.
Is there anything else you would like to add to this conversation we've had today?
I mean, is this for your channel?
Yes.
Well, I mean, like and subscribe. Stay tuned. There's always more coming. I will
Thank
always
you.
be down. I will always be down to be a guest. You can always reach out to me if you're trying to continue to promote your channel and stuff. I'm always trying to just build and keep going. And I have newscasts that I'm on every day, like you heard on abc17news.com/live stream. You can watch it there on weekend mornings and weekday Monday, Tuesday mornings. You'll find me. And also, I have like a new vlog coming out called Zachy B Hawaii DVD. So look up for that. That's coming. And, just keep working. I'm going to keep watching your stuff, keep posting.
Thanks. Would you like to include your social media handles?
Yeah, at ABC17 Zach on everything.
At ABC17 Zach. All right. Thanks, Zach.
Thanks for having me, Naomi. Good luck.
Thank you.